Greetings. I'm Dave Cohen, Director of the Town of Wellesley Department of Public Works. On behalf of the Board of Public Works, I'm pleased to present the FY23 Water Enterprise Fund budget request. Before getting into the budget presentation, I'd like to give a brief update on the PFAS contamination issue that emerged over the past year, and as you'll see, will have a significant impact on our water budget and your water rates going forward. PFAS stands for per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, and these are a class of human-made compounds that don't break down easily. Because of increasing health concerns related to these chemicals, in September 2020, the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection enacted new drinking water regulations for 6 PFAS compounds, now referred to as PFAS 6. In Wellesley, we were required to start testing for PFAS 6 in April of 2021. At that time, we found that the Morse's Pond treatment plant wells exceeded the new standard of 20 parts per trillion. Under the guidance of the DEP, we shut off the treatment plant and have been using more MWRA water since that time. The Morse's Pond wells typically provide 30 to 40% of our water, about 1 to 1.5 million gallons per day. And MWRA water costs about $2,500 more per million gallons than our locally produced water. Our other 2 treatment plants continue to be tested monthly and remain in compliance below the MCL. In May last year, we enacted mandatory outdoor watering restrictions because our current MWRA connection can't supply enough water to meet our existing demand. We then engaged a consultant to develop treatment alternatives to help us get the Morse's Pond plant back online as soon as possible. An interim treatment solution was approved at the 2021 Fall Special Town Meeting, and we subsequently received $1.5 million in ARPA funding, plus $150,000 in DEP grant funding to cover the cost of the interim system. Construction is underway, and we expect completion in early May. This year, additional conservation will be needed, but conservation alone won't be enough to help us meet our current and future demands. So we've been working on developing a long-term solution. The 2 primary alternatives will be a permanent treatment system for the Morse's Pond treatment plant, and we're also working with the MWRA on developing a concept for a second connection point into their system. Both of these alternatives will take time and will cost millions of dollars. The results from our interim system will be used to evaluate design alternatives, and we're working with our neighboring communities to see if the MWRA second connection alternative could be advanced as a regional solution. As we move forward, we'll continue our engagement with the public and our town partners, including the health department, and we expect to have a recommendation ready for a special town meeting next fall. Now let's turn to the budget. For those of you who are new to town meeting, an enterprise fund provides a service to the community and charges the users of that service through its rates. The enterprise receives its funding solely from the fees it charges, not from the tax revenues of the town. The budget is based on a break-even cash flow projection of water to be used during a moderate water usage year. We then modify our rates as needed to meet our annual operating needs and actual weather conditions. For example, a hot, dry summer versus a cold, wet summer. A recent review of both funds show they compare favorably with our peer communities. Here you see a comparison of the cost of water and sewer for a household that uses 120 CCFs, or 100 cubic feet, of water per year. The combined average residential bill for both water and sewer is the lowest when compared with our surrounding communities. While we're pleased with this comparison, unfortunately, this will likely not be the case in FY23, as we're projecting a substantial rate increase due to PFAS at the Morse's Pond wells and the subsequent need to use more MWRA water. This is our proposed water budget for fiscal year 23 compared to the current year. The total budget, including non-operating expenses and contingencies, is about $11.5 million and is 17.4% more than the previous year. There are 2 primary reasons for this increase. The first is about $1 million of MWRA cost, which is due to increased water purchases in calendar year 2021. The additional water was needed because the Morse's Pond treatment plant was shut down due to PFAS. The second item is capital outlay, which is up by $465,000 due to additional planned distribution system improvements, plus the feasibility study for the MWRA connection. On the bottom line, you'll see we're seeking your authorization to spend up to $11,586,265 in our operating and capital budgets this coming fiscal year, which is 17.4% more than last year's request. For many years, we followed a deliberate plan to upgrade our water distribution system, which in many places is more than 100 years old. In FY23, we'll continue to focus our attention on revitalizing sections of our water distribution system. In addition, we're engaged in a project to redevelop, rehabilitate, and improve our existing water wells that supply much of our water needs. This will help us reach the maximum supply levels allowed for our wells and keep the MWRA water purchases to a minimum. On a parallel track, we'll be exploring a secondary connection to the MWRA to provide an alternative source of supply in the event that the PFAS contamination issue isn't addressed sufficiently through additional treatment. That's a decision that the board and the town will consider at a future town meeting once a recommended course of action is determined. Here's some more detail on our proposed capital plan, and you can see the two major items at the top, including $500,000 for water supply improvements and $750,000 to improve our water distribution system. The balance of requested funds are for installing hydrants, incidental water meter replacements, vehicle replacement, and building repairs and improvements. Although we have not needed a water rate increase over the past 10 years, based on this budget, we expect a 50% water rate increase in FY23. The primary drivers of the increase are shown on this slide. It may be helpful to keep in mind that every $45,000 of cost in the water fund is equivalent to a 1% impact on rates. The primary drivers of the rate increase are $1 million to pay for additional MWRA water purchased last year, $700,000 for revenue reductions due to less water sold, $465,000 for additional capital investments, and about $115,000 for all other operating cost increases. We're in the process of developing recommended rate changes that will help strike a balance between meeting our program needs, encouraging conservation, and fairly charging our customers. The Board of Public Works will be reviewing rates next month before a final rate structure is adopted for FY23. This slide shows the potential impact of a 50% water rate increase for the average residential user in Wellesley. Assuming no increase for our neighboring communities, we would then be the second lowest despite the large increase. I'd like to take a minute just to give an update on a couple of important programs. The townwide meter replacement project that was funded at the 2018 annual town meeting was slowed somewhat due to COVID-19, but we're now at about 95% complete and looking forward to substantial completion in the coming months. We're now getting ready to launch a customer portal that will allow you to log in to see your water usage trends and set up alerts for unusual water usage patterns, which can help more quickly identify leaks. For anyone still needing to have their meter replaced, please give the Water Division a call and we can schedule an appointment to take care of you. Finally, regarding conservation, we expect again to need mandatory outdoor watering restrictions this summer to ensure that we can provide adequate water to all our customers and maintain adequate system pressure for general use and firefighting needs. We've partnered with the EPA WaterSense program and will continue to promote a wide variety of conservation promotion and information, all available on our website for your reference. The new customer portal that I mentioned earlier will be a great tool to help you identify leaks, which will save water and save you money. The portal will also have additional conservation tips and information. In summary then, we ask for your favorable action on Article 13 with a total water fund spending authorization of $11,586,265.